Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This video is meant to help you, or at least give you a little advice on, it's called a test of objectivity. Let's put it this way. How can you test someone to see if that person is really an objective person and has a balanced way of looking at things, and has kind of like, when he wants to learn something, picks everything that he can get, verifies it, and then puts it in its memory and so on, and then process it and analyze it and synthesize it and so on. So this is a test, and I'm going to use an article that I found. When I read the title, I said, well, that's a good test, because I guarantee you this expert that I'm going to feature here will be a subjective mofo. And I said, well, okay, so when I got the article on the screen. I have here a big screen in front of me, the one that I project here that you can see, like so. Here, you see? That one, how I do, I got it on the phone, and the phone I just transfer it to an iPad, and from the iPad I transfer it to this one, okay? So when I saw the picture on my telephone, I couldn't figure out who the guy was, an expert, okay? I didn't have my glasses, I'm old, my skin is cold, so, you know, but when I projected here, and the screen is like this big, I was, oh, hold on, I know you, I recognize your face, I know who you are. And indeed, in the first line of the article, it says his name. Yes, indeed, he's a Zelensky Stein. No problem with that, because I have a good Zelensky Stein. His name is Stefan Cohen, doctor, professor Stefan Cohen. Watch that guy, he's a Zelensky Stein, but fantastic guy. Now that's a scientist, okay? Now that's a scientist. So this expert tells us something, and I said I'm going to use this as a test of objectivity that you can apply to your friends or to your audience. Whenever you start discussing an issue, apply this test, ask this question, and depending on the answer that you receive, you know who you have in front of you. A person who's not sincere, could not, not able to say, yeah, man, we lost. Like, let's say you have let's say you have 1984 final in the, let's get something else. You got, wasn't that a semifinal between England and Argentina in 1986 in football? Remember Maradona scored with his hand, remember that? Okay, now, and that was that famous goal that Argentina scored, Maradona scored, yeah. Now, if you ask, okay, my English friends, did you think you lost, or would have lost that game? Fuck no, blah, 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 blah. All right, now, you can talk about that subject, but you can have someone who said, well, I don't know, Argentina had a good team, we had a good team, well, I don't know, maybe, now that person that you ask that question to an English guy, and he answers it, fuck no, England, then you can't really talk about that subject with that person. Can't be objective. Too much passion. Or maybe his assessment tells him that. A person should say, I don't know, maybe we would have won, we had a good team and so on. Then you cannot have a conversation, because that should be a passionate conversation, but he is able to, be objective, or at least look at it from various angles. I have made this introduction too long, doesn't really matter. Here is the article. This is what this weasel says. Recognize the guy? Do you recognize the guy? Oh, huh? By face, I recognize him as a human. But then I recognize him by the name, and that confirmed me that he is a Ukrainian Jew who lives in America. He immigrated. His parents left, as remember that immigration from Soviet Union in the 80s and 70s and 80s, and they immigrated. Only they immigrated to the United States of America or to Israel. So he's one of those guys. I think he immigrated even earlier than that, because he immigrated as a child. So must have been before that. Definitely it was. So this is Mr. Vindman. Remember Vindman? Another idiot colonel, his brother. So only Kremlin apologists and those ignoring facts failed to see evidence of Russian war crimes. Expert. So he's an expert. Okay. Now, is either or. You're either an apologist or you are an idiot. You ignore facts and you fail to see the evidence of Russian war crimes. Okay, all right. Well, maybe some of us ignore that. Maybe some of us, have lapses in our attention and passion, and, we become subjective and so on. But this is how you you could figure out if this guy really is an expert and really is objective. You should ask him, do you think Israel commits war crimes in Gaza right now by bombarding and flattening, neighborhoods, or turning off the water? Is the same thing as the Russians do? I guarantee you his answer would not be the same. He would say no. Therefore, when he throws that on us, we should throw them on him. And I guarantee you he would say, no, you can't compare Russia with what Israel does. Israel is in self-defense. It doesn't matter if you're self-defense. A rape is in self-defense or not, still a rape, my friend. So here you have it. If you kill civilians in self-defense, okay, and you turn off the water for the whole group of 2.3 million people in Gaza, it's a crime. That's a crime, okay? International law against it. But he's not going to say it. So here he is. That's according to Eugene Vindman, a US-based expert in national security and international law who spoke in an interview with Ukraine Forum. You got him? So they put a big hat on him and said he's a fantastic guy. You should believe him. I don't. Now, so this is what you should do when you want to test your counterpart. Ask him this question. Do you think Israel has ever done anything wrong? Don't allow them to say but after the answer. The answer should be yes or no. All right? Because they will say yes, but they did it because they defended themselves. That nullifies the answer they gave. All right? That's how it is. And in that moment, what the hell is going on with me? Bang, 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 a few adjustments here or something. It's just that's the way you test it. And if the person cannot, for instance, this guy, if you want to have a conversation with him, ask him that question. And since he's going to answer the way I think he's going to answer, you can't talk with this guy. You're not going to talk about Russia if you're not able to be objective on the other side. So I will tell you what I observed in my life, and it's no offense to anybody else. I can be an idiot, I can be a whatever. This is what I observed. I observed that in my conversations with people, very intelligent, very well read, sophisticated. Whenever we got to religion, it was like Vindman. You couldn't speak logically with them because they put in the belief, they put that passion, they believed in that, and that destroyed the whole. It's like you are able to function at work, but when you jump in a car, you don't know which one is left and which one is right. When you get to an intersection and you see a red light, you say, well, I feel like it's a green light because I think so. Even though you see it's red, or maybe you see it green. How can you function? You know, I mean, that's, for me, that was like what's going on, man? We can talk about finance, we can talk about history, we can talk about social science, we can talk about Second World War, we can mathematics, physics, whatever. When we get to that one, you lose everything you had in all other conversations. For instance, do you think that Noah lived 900 years? His answer must be, if he is a believer, yes. Next question. Do you think that Noah built the ark when he was 600 years old? His answer must be yes. Another one. Do you think that one human being with a few guys and few women built such a big ark, boat, that could support all the things that we have now? His answer must be yes. And I can go on and on and on. So when you have this but then you ask him some mathematical problem, he knows the formulas, he can tell you economics, he knows shit. He is a scientist. But he tells you that Noah lived until and he built that ark. Instead of saying, no man, it's just a story, ignore it. But he can't say that, because if you say that, you know, the Bible was by a divine, divine inspiration. So you can't say it. Everything that's in the Bible, it's by divine inspiration. So that's God telling these guys. God is not they remember they are. That's how it happens. So not all in the Bible must be true. But when things don't make sense, they are a refuge, metaphorically speaking. What the fuck? Okay, so again, when you don't like a conversation at work, let's say you screwed up your project, and you say, well, that's metaphorically speaking, we just lost $3 billion in this project. Metaphorically speaking, you'll be fired in that second, on that second. That doesn't fly. But somehow these kind of things fly. I'm talking about a dedublation, or how do you call it, a break from this to that. The same with this guy. So this is a test. Ask the person, do you think that Israel, blah, blah, blah. Do you think that, for instance, Moses did this? Or do you think Moses really split the Red Sea? Okay. You think the guy lives... And after that, you say... I mean, you understand the person much better at that point. I mean, don't hate me. I'm just telling you how I function. I mean, I in this kind of situations. But I guarantee you, when you go and discuss with someone, let's say another thing. That's another one that works usually with women. Let me generalize it. No, direct experience, okay? So in my direct experience, and with men too, okay? I'm not saying the men are after, but ask them about their mommy. Ask them about, or point out, hey, your mommy, blah, 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 or did your mommy, mama? And if you can't touch mommy with a feather, that's how dangerous that is, you have a problem here. I love my parents. I love my relatives. I love people that I admire. I'm very passionate about it. But I can't, have my shadowed here and say, my father was perfect. No, he was the son of my life. The how do you call it? The light of my life. In the intelligence, in the world. Like, my mom played a different role. I know that he did hanky-panky. I know my mom failed there or was like this, and I know I have my own defects as well. And my children see that, but it doesn't mean that they don't love me. You know what I mean? But as a friend, I think you can share certain things. You can be, don't say anything about my mom or my dad. Okay, man, I'm not going to say, I don't want to insult you, but I just want to see how far you can go. You can't go that far. Anyway, my friend, thank you, my friends. Just sharing with you, all right? Don't get that upset, and I hope you didn't. Because if you did, you failed the objectivity test. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.